On June 3rd, the Pennsylvania DEP held a public hearing on the Geryville Mining Company's permit application to dig a new quarry in Lower Milford Township, Lehigh County. More than 120 people attended the meeting to voice their opposition, saying pollution from the quarry would harm the Hosensack Creek, a pristine stream that's been nominated for exceptional value status, as well as fragile wetlands and sensitive wildlife. The residents say the quarry would also generate unsafe truck traffic and air pollution.
My son Christian enjoys being outside, seeing all the beautiful trees. He likes to feel the sunshine. We look at the flowers. We talk about them. We sit out on our patio at night. We enjoy the stars. We're very lucky. That is until Friday, April 17th. The first beautiful day we had after this crazy winter, and we were outside, and it was beautiful, and my grandchildren were there. We were playing, and then all of a sudden this smell came along, this fog came along, this dust came along, all in the backyard. We had to go inside. We had to shut the windows that had been shut all winter, and were open for the very first time that day. Didn't know what it was. I contacted the township, who in turn told me to contact EDP, which I did. I left a message, and this is Friday, April 17th. They called me back on Monday, lunchtime I think it was, somewhere around there. Michael was one of them. Anyhow, with Mr. Kuba. And they came over to talk to me, and they would investigate it. They filed my complaint. Obviously, April 20th, 3 days later, there's no dust, there's no soot, there's no smell. It's done. That, in fact, was the first time that there was well drilling going on across the street. I guess I just don't believe in such a beautiful township where we have preserved farms down the road. Why do you want to put a quarry in? Traffic is an issue, obviously, because of the bus issue. I drive a real big van. You'll see it out there. It sits up high. And when I go to make a left-hand turn, it's like taking your life in your hands someday, trying to turn in. How our quarry truck's going to be on that road, and we're going to be safe. My son Christian has a lot of pulmonary issues. Nothing of importance to you, very important to me. And I got to tell you, I have a right to breathe clean air. You have a right to breathe clean air. He definitely has a right to breathe clean air. You put that in, and you have soot, and you have dust, and you have fumes that come off at any time. It's not right. The quality of life is more important. Simple rules, simple saying. Say no to the quarry. We don't need the heavy traffic. We don't need the dust. We don't need the fumes. End of story. Thank you.
Thank you. Under Pennsylvania law, PADEP is not to approve a permit renewal, revised permit application unless the application affirmatively demonstrates and PADEP finds no presumptive evidence of potential pollution of the waters of the Commonwealth. DRN holds that PADEP should not approve this permit application because this presumption cannot be met for this application. DRN commissioned Princeton Hydro to study the potential impacts caused by the projected changes in land cover and alteration of the hydrology that would result. Princeton Hydro modeled the site using MapShed, a robust pollutant and hydrologic modeling tool developed by Penn State, ran the developed scenario condition with and without stormwater and erosion control best management practices. Even accounting for sediment retention on site, Princeton Hydro estimated 96.6% increase in sediment loading to the Hosensack under the proposed quarry conditions. The increase can only result in pollution of the waters of the Commonwealth. Per the Environmental Hearing Board's decision in Chrome Creek Neighbors v. DEP, PADEP must consider water quantity as well as water quality impacts when reviewing permit applications. The proposed quarry operation is likely to intercept groundwater and dewater wetlands. DRN's review of topography for the site wetlands and proposed infiltration trenches we determined that wetlands H actually appears to be upgrading the location of both outfall 1 and the associated infiltration trenches. The configuration of the infiltration trenches and the proximity to the proposed limit of mining suggest that infiltration trenches will not maintain hydrology of these wetlands, but will instead continually cycle flow back into the mining operation. This would result in dewatering the wetlands and harm to the waters of the Commonwealth, in this case exceptional value wetlands as defined in the Pennsylvania Code. Moreover, to construct the infiltration trenches, Geryville Materials is seeking approval to encroach on the 100-foot distance limitation for streams set by law. The encroaching construction Geryville Materials proposes will likely harm the Hosensack's healthy headwaters tributaries all to support an infiltration approach that the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission has suggested has a high probability of failure. Darren also notes that DRN, the Procurement Chapter of Trout Unlimited, Lower Milford Township, have petitioned the Environmental Quality Board to upgrade the Hosensack Basin and all of its tributaries to exceptional value status. The petition was unanimously accepted for review by the EQB on April 2015. PADEP must take this petition into consideration when reviewing Geryville materials permit application and ensure that no degradation is allowed to exceptional value waters. Finally, a result of the change in the status of the northern long-eared bat, recently listed as threatened by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Geryville Materials must rerun its Pennsylvania Natural Diversity Inventory Project Environmental Review receipts. Receipts run prior to May 4th, 2015 are no longer valid. Geryville Materials' most recent PNDI receipt is dated October 10th, 2015. As trustee of the Commonwealth's natural resources, PADEP shall conserve and maintain the resources for the benefit of all Pennsylvanians now as well as in the future. PADEP is tasked with considering any type of permitting impacts such as dewatering the Hosensack's exceptional value wetlands, whether those impacts will occur now or in the future. Again, with these impacts highly likely, DRN holds that PADEP can only find that the proposed quarry, stone crushing operation, and asphalt plant will harm the waters of the Commonwealth and therefore should not be permitted. Thank you.
Thank you. For over 10 years, I sat in this very room and listened to testimony regarding this proposed quarry. The more I learned, the more concerned I became about the environmental threat this quarry presents to our community. Today, more than ever, I oppose this application for the following reasons. Article 1, Section 27 of the Constitution of Pennsylvania states, quote, "The people have a right to clean air, pure water, and to the preservation of the natural, scenic, historic, and aesthetic values of the environment. Pennsylvania's public natural resources are the common property of all the people, including generations yet to come. As trustee of these resources, the Commonwealth shall conserve and maintain them for the benefit of the people." Unquote. The property in question is a natural resource to Lower Milford Township and surrounding communities. It's beautiful. It is pristine.
I've reviewed their documents. According to those documents, Geryville Materials believes they'll have no impact on wetlands, surface water, groundwater from the quarry. I disagree with that conclusion. I've reviewed these documents from a technical standpoint and feel that there are significant deficiencies in the way that this project has actually been evaluated and conclusions have been drawn from data that really doesn't support their conclusions. I've basically identified 4 areas that I have a concern, technical concerns, relative to my review of their documents. The first being, in the very beginning, are the infiltration tests that were conducted. Being involved as a hydrogeologist in Pennsylvania, I've done significant amount of groundwater modeling and, as a result, infiltration testing for municipal and industrial sites. The testing that Geryville has done has involved dumping less than a gallon of water into the ground and evaluating its infiltration into the ground and coming up with a determination that this is adequate for a design of a large industrial scale infiltration facility. My opinion, what they've done is more consistent with the infiltration testing that's done for your septic system in your backyard.
What we've established year in, year out, even this past spring, is that the macroinvertebrate population in the water at that confluence of both those streams is high quality. Our macroinvertebrate population is exceptional. Now there's also a breeding trout in there, and we also remember we're partners with the PA Fish Commission and Trout Unlimited, where we breed trout and we release them at the confluence of the Perkiomen and the Hosensack in hopes that understanding it's high quality north of the Greenland Reservoir, they'll migrate up. The whole purpose of the program by Trout Unlimited and the Fish Commission, quite frankly, is they're going to tell you it's not about those fish surviving. It's about educating people about the importance of water quality. If you want to maintain that water quality in the trout live, it's good. But it's also, just like East Greenville, it's people downstream. And it's people downstream throughout the whole entire watershed. We're against the quarry because we believe it will seriously impact the water quality in the Hosensack. Thank you.
Thank you.
This permit is not a NIMBY issue. The township has already experienced with excessive water use from an ill-conceived fish hatchery that caused our wells to dry up. So in your deliberations, pending this permit, with all its legal and emotional ramifications, I will bring up one thing. And I read your article back there. How much is a waterless home worth? Who do we as residents get restitution from? Who would buy a waterless house? And what PA government agency do residents turn to, if not the DEP, to protect our interests? As the refrain from Joni Mitchell's song says, you don't know what you got till it's gone. They pave paradise and they put up a parking lot. The natural, scenic, historic, and aesthetic values of this area are at risk. Please don't choose rock over people's rights.
Thank you, sir.